last. Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Wednesday, the 20th of April. Wishing a week away there. Okay, see, it certainly seems a quiet week at the moment, and you may have noticed the market quite choppy at times, particularly the euro dollar yesterday. Just sat there in a very tight range, but we're still effectively on school holidays for many. Some going back today, some at the end of the week, towards the end of the week, and some even next week. So it does really have a knock-on effect on the markets at times. It's quieter for sure, and we got little in the way of key information out today. So very little out today. In fact, if we just quickly run through here. We do have a few speakers tomorrow, and German flash, we've got the flash manufacturing services data coming out on Friday. So quite a quiet whole day week, beg your pardon, ahead of us. So that was that. Let's get on and look at the markets. In fact, let's start off looking at the euro dollar. Would be a good one. So euro, it's yesterday and today. Well, today it's finding a bit of a bounce going on here at the moment. It's certainly been. Yesterday came pretty close to double bottoming territory. Towards those bottoms, managed to bounce about. As I said, it got very choppy for long periods there, and it's been choppy. Pushing up at the moment, still got the pivot above us there, which could well be a draw for the price action. That's a weekly pivot sitting above there at the moment, just to put them in. I was looking at them yesterday and I was getting, because they're auto pivots, I was getting them a little muddled. This is still a weekly pivot that's sitting above us here. I'm looking at this hourly time frame, so the weekly pivot's still sitting there above. But you can see the pattern here. It's put it on this smaller time frame. You can see the higher low that's come through here. We could see a bit more correction. I need to come down to a 15 minutes to look at the daily then. And well, the daily pivot's already been hit. You can see there's quite a range already done here. Overall, in fact, coming back to it, we've almost done the whole of yesterday's range before we started trading this morning. Hi Ben. The pound dollar, again yesterday, well, it closed low. It's picked up again a bit this morning. I say again this morning. It's picked up a little bit this morning. Let's just come down the time frames on this, and well, it's messy, spiky sort of price action. Pivot's already been hit there. I was just looking on the weeklies. Pivot's already been hit. It's quite messy, but the high and low in yesterday afternoon, again, it's sort of questionable whether it is going to push up already through the daily pivot and through the R1. So again, already done quite a bit of distance. Come back to the dailies here. Again, you can see the quite a move in the market relative to yesterday. Just want a decent move in the market today. Dollar yen, well, that had even a bigger move yesterday than the others. Stalling at the moment, but you do wonder, the closer it gets to 130, there's an R2 pivot above there, but around this 130 is seen as the sort of level where we might see some chatter coming through, but for now it's heading there quite strongly. Coming down the time frames, just looking at this, I mean, it's high lows, high highs all the way through, and again, well, just turning. See the high lows, high highs through there. You can just see the potential. A break of below 128.04 would put it into a more bearish sort of stance, but really it's certainly extremely bullish at the moment. Aussie dollar, again, it picking up during the Asian session there, already taking out yesterday's highs and pushing up further. Just running into the weekly pivot here at the moment, and it's having a reaction to that. It's whether or not it can push on through. It did put a higher low in yesterday. It'll be easier to see on the hourlies here. Did eventually put a higher low, put it through yesterday. Put it through at 1 o'clock this morning, the higher low, and it started moving, pushing up through here. So again, just a sort of a bit of dollar weakness coming through. There's the clear high lows all the way through here as well, looking positive at the moment, but such a range on these markets through the Asian session. It does make me wonder whether we'll see anything in our own session here. US dollar CAD, well, again, well, yesterday it did pretty well. It is sort of performing quite well against its peers and against the US dollar here. It's strengthened up here. This is US CAD, remember, looking like it's got further downside there. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong time frame here. It didn't do so well yesterday. I was looking at the shorter time frame. I do apologise. I thought it did quite well, but obviously it just got into a chop yesterday on the dailies. At the moment, looking at this 4-hourly chart, we're sort of range bound. You see the range between the bodies at least. In the 4 hourlies, a break of the lows there would give us a lower high start, or beginning to give us lower highs. The real significant one is down here, but it does look a bit on the softer side for the US dollar, and it's pushing on towards its S1 here. Right, get back to a daily on here. That's it. Right, okay, they're the major Forex markets. Let's have a look at oil, what's up to. I'm just going to bring in the I've got the light crude, NYMEX crude futures, but it's the same most places. Same picture in terms of what oil's doing here. It's rolled back somewhat here off the monthly pivot there. Yesterday it ran into coming down time frames here. If anything, I'm sort of starting to look to see if it would roll beyond the trend line, this little flag, whether it will push on and come down. So a break below that trend line may be useful, and down to the hourlies you just see that sort of movement. Pivot wise, let's just have a look at the shorter term pivots here. Okay, so daily pivots above there, so we'll see what happens. If it, I'm just looking, it's quite a mixture here, because this, if it broke and touched into the pivot there, it would give us a higher low. So but overall, I'd only be looking for the break of those lows really. So there we go, that's oil. Right, let's move on and look at crypto markets. Bitcoin, let's come up the time frames here. I don't really want to be running through the short time frames too much. Yeah, okay, so yesterday I got a bit of continuation from the previous day there. It had been, I still wonder what's going on here. The sentiment sort of, I was looking at it yesterday, it seems to have changed a little bit and getting a bit more neutral. The sentiment, it's been pretty fearful of late, but easing through there into the sort of neutral territory. It just makes me wonder if we'll see money actually coming back into this, into these coins. Just chopping still on Ethereum. I mean, a lot of them, it's similar-ish story. There's some potential, like Binance here, BNB. A break of this more recent high would give us a higher low, and it could outperform a little bit. It had been looking better in terms of not retracing so deeply, etc. It might just steal the show a little bit if it can break, as I say, break the highs of about 427. Okay, not much to add on that, and let's go and have a look at the indices. So down again. I'll continue saying I remain bearish. Just to continue old. It's Groundhog Day for me on this one, because there's nothing else to say in terms of it just looks soft, and it's giving us a new low there, so a lower high coming through in this sort of range trading. It's broken out of that a little bit more, at least given a lower low, and it just looks, as I say, pretty soft. Nikkei on the other hand had a decent jump up from its close there. You see its close, more gaps filled. The way it's going like this, you wonder if it will go and push up the gap up the top here, but it's ended up doji wise at the moment looking a bit softer. I'm not overly positive on these markets. If we go through to the S&Ps, Yesterday it ended up positive, but at the end of the day there, and it has put like a pivotal move there. Whether it will actually gain any traction today and push up, we'll see. But the sentiment on the likes of the S&Ps is not particularly good from the big money. It's falling back again, and well, I think we're struggling a little bit here, and we could with the Nasdaq looking quite softish. The Dow was outperforming a little bit, smaller index, a little bit easier sometimes. It's broken the trend there. In fact, this looks at certainly more positive than its peers there. Nifty 50, well, didn't really recover too well yesterday, just pushed on through. This morning it sort of gapped up and looking a bit more positive. Got that big gap there. Whether it will look back and get back to that at some point, not necessarily today, but in the next day or two, we'll see. But it still looks, most of these markets look bearish to me. Moving to Europe then, the Nasdaq. Well, the Nasdaq's been sitting in these ranges. We've seen these tight old ranges in the Nasdaq. The CAC was pretty much into it. It's not pushing one way or the other at the moment, and yes, it's broken the trend line that I drew on there, but it's basically walked out of the sidewards. Not really a lot of power into it or momentum at this moment, and if anything, I'm still thinking it looks a bit on the softer side. CAC, there you go, the same consolidation move, no real movement in terms of trend. Well, the trend is sideward. That's it. It's running in a channel, but very small market moves. FTSE, well, it's not open yet, but yesterday didn't do massively well, still a bit rangy. It is one, if we do start seeing the markets move, I think could have some reasonable potential. It's been outperforming its peers, and well, we could see further upside, but I think the gloss may be coming off a little bit when they talk about higher interest rates, but we'll see how things develop. Anyway, that's pretty much it for me today. I wish you a great day's trading, and I will catch you in the morning. Bye for now.